Hey friends, Shay here. So I'm kind of doing what's become kind of an annual tradition for me, and I am doing a bunch of volume ones so I can kind of look at some series that have come out recently to see if I want to collect them, if I don't want to collect them, if I want to just borrow them from people, those kinds of things. So I've got a little pile here, and then I do have 3 arcs that I'm going to include in this vlog. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So let's talk about the arcs first. So the first one is Anyway, I'm Falling in Love with You, Volume 1. This looks like a really cute new shoujo. I think I've seen a couple of people read this because technically it published in November. I just got approved for it really late. Then I've got With You in the Rain, Volume 1, which looks more josei, which I'm really excited about. I love reading josei manga. It looks like she adopts a little tanuki, but she thinks it's a dog. And I think it's going to be interesting. Maybe a little quirky. You know me, I like quirky things. And then this other one is definitely quirky, and that is My Master Has No Tail. Again, it's about a girl who was a tanuki born in the wrong era, and all she wants to do is trick humans. But, you know, tanuki shenanigans are all over. So it looks like it might be slightly sapphic. It looks like it's 2 women, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll tell you once I read it. So those are the only arcs that I've got right now. But I do have some amazing volume ones. I know some of you have been very excited for me to read some of these, so I think it's going to be fun. So first up, Seaside Stranger, Volume 1. I've heard nothing but amazing things. It's finally time for me to dive in, so this is going to happen. This one's not technically a Volume 1. It's a short story collection, and that's Would You Like to Be a Family? It's a LGBT-centered collection, so I'm interested to see how I feel about it. I've heard mixed things so far, so I'll be interested to see where I land. And then I've got A Tale of the Secret Saint. I picked this up a while back. It looks really fun. It's got a beautiful dragon on the back. So again, don't know too much about this yet. Haven't really heard anybody talking about it, so I want to give it a try. And then I have The Country Without Humans. Again, another one I've been very, very excited for, and I'm really excited to be diving in. Next, I have The Splendid Work of a Monster Maid. Again, another one that I've been hearing good things about, and it sounds just quirky enough that it's probably something I'm going to love. So again, very exciting. And this last one, people have been begging me to read this series for years. It's finally going to happen. And that's I Hear The Sunspot. This is a male-male relationship. I do believe one of them is deaf, if I remember correctly. They have a hearing disability. So I don't know the level of deafness at this point, but something is up with their hearing. I've heard this is beautiful and amazing and that I'm going to love it. So it's happening, y'all. It's happening in this vlog. I'm going to document it because so many of you have told me to read this series. So yeah. Anyways, I am going to start with the arcs, so I'll probably save I Hear the Sunspot for the end, but as always, when I do these kinds of videos, I'm going to leave timestamps and chapters down below so that you can skip to whichever series you're interested in and skip over the ones that you may not be. I hope with all my heart that you'll watch them all, though, because I put a lot of effort into these videos, and I really, really, really hope that you guys enjoy them. So with that, let's get started. Alrighty, so I just finished Anyway, I'm Falling in Love with You, Volume 1, and I'm actually quite glad that this was my first volume of 2022 because this was very unique for me. This is actually a manga that's taking place during the pandemic. So we skip to this woman in 2030 who looks back on her life starting in 2020 around the time that the virus has started spreading, and it's about her adventure with her 4 best childhood friends who all happen to be boys. And one of them's come out early from the gate wanting to date her. He was on the same swim team as the guy that she had a crush on. She did mildly like confess to him in a way, and the senpai, the older guy. And that didn't go well. Obviously, he was depressed about his meets being canceled, things like that. She tried to motivate him to come back to swim team, and in doing so, the childhood friend perks up and says, "Hey, stay away from her, she's mine." And he then goes on to confess to her and to start doing things to win her over. It's starting to work. and then something happens at the end of this volume. I'm not going to tell you what. You need to read it for yourself to find out. Needless to say, I am very excited to get my hands on volume 2 because volume 1 was absolutely fantastic. And again, it has that very unique feel to it because it's taking place during 2020. And I think the art is really well done also, and I'm really looking forward to how this is going to play out. I think it's going to be a good time. So, all right. So I read With You and the Rain, volume 1, and I have very mixed feelings about this. So essentially, we have this nameless woman who finds this tanuki in a box, and he has this like flip chart of things that he says, and it continues to convince everyone that it's a dog. She ends up taking it home and treats it like a stray dog. And it's about everybody else around her trying to convince her that it's a tanuki. When she says it's a dog, it says it's a dog, and all these things. So I don't get the point, I guess. I don't find it that funny. And it just makes this woman look stupid, and I don't really love how that feels as a woman. So I don't think I'm going to continue this one. I don't find it particularly funny. I think it's meant to be that way. It's much more four coma style, very short chapters. If you like that style of a story, give this one a try, but this is definitely not what I was hoping it would be, and I'm really sad now. So with that said, let's move on to another one. So I just finished My Master Has No Tail. And it's kind of it's exactly what the back describes. It's not sapphic like I was hoping. If it does go sapphic, it's going to be that teacher senpai trope, which for this particular couple isn't really working for me. So this is another one I don't think I'm going to continue. So out of my arcs, 1 out of the 3 I'm going to continue, which is kind of sad, but at the same time, it's good. I feel like I'm starting to truly narrow my focus on my collection. And though these last 2 haven't necessarily been bad, they are just not what I'm looking for in a physical series I want to own. So with that said, if you like the description on either of the 2 series that these last 2 that I mentioned, go ahead and give them a try. Decide for yourself. But for me, these 2 didn't work. They were laying too hard into the comedy side of the mangas, and I tend to not love most comedy manga. There's a few exceptions to that, but most of them start to feel repetitive over time, or they just start to feel dull and dry. So it hurts me to say this, but I won't be continuing My Master Has No Tail. Again, it's another one that didn't necessarily play out how I hoped. So with that said, I've been able to narrow 2 out of this list that I'm reading. So I'm gonna take a bit of a break from reading manga for a bit, and when I come back to it, you guys will see my face again. Okay, so it's the next day. Yes, my neck looks really bad. My eczema's flaring up. It usually happens this time of year. I'm not sure what triggered it this time, but this is on the healing side. Yes, I know it looks bad. I'm not diseased. I'm not ill. This is just my life, and I'm sorry that you have to see it. But anyways, I wanted to talk a little bit about this video because I've got a couple of extra things that I'm going to read. My Barnes & Noble, the store I work at, ended up getting a couple of volumes that I've been waiting on for a while, because when I went to get them, they had already sold during the Christmas season. So the first one is Cat Massage Therapy Volume 1. Just for you, Mommy Weeb. Just for you.
You are just on the cat thing.
I was saying, if you've been watching our videos, you know that if something has a cat on it, at the very least, I will look into it to see if I like it. Yep. Now, I'm going to say that the person, whoever designed this cover, was the smartest person in the world, because the little kitty pad feet are embossed, and you're just like, aww, I want to pet the little kitty.
And isn't the logo on?
Because this is raised, like... So, Cat Massage Therapy Volume 1 is going to be added to this docket of reading. And then I also have The Savior's Book Cafe Story in Another World, which is one that's been on my radar for a long time because I'm such a bookish person and I love manga as well. So I think this is going to bridge the two worlds really well, and my friends who have read this absolutely adored it. So again, very, very excited. And then the last thing I'm going to add to this list, I've actually just read, and that is When Pink Rain Falls. This is a comic from Yoyu, and this is being released by Starfruit Books. They were kind enough to send this to me, and this was adorable. This is like a slightly BL version of Ran the Peerless Beauty. Basically, you have this guy here who took an interest in flowers, and one of his dear friends asked him to make the wedding bouquet at his wedding. And so he makes it even though he didn't want to make it. And he actually ends up stealing the bouquet and running away. And then as he's running away, this guy who owns a floral shop sees the bouquet, falls in love with it, ends up hiring him on the spot. And it's kind of their relationship getting to know one another. And they work together now. And it's fantastic. It's short, sweet, super cute. Really loved it. I highly recommend checking this out. The quality is really, really nice. It's a lot larger than I was expecting it to be. Here's a standard size volume for comparison. It is only like a chapter. It's super thin. But I really enjoyed this read. I thought it was super adorable. Would 10 out of 10 recommend getting your hands on it, whether digitally or physically. I would recommend supporting it. Let's keep going with this video. I may put on a sweater to cover up more of this so you don't have to see quite as much, but just know that I am fine. I promise. It just looks worse than it is. And having this new, very like in-your-face camera is not doing me any favors in that department. Hey friends, so it's actually been a couple of days. I've got a big gap at work. Yes, it's still healing. I know it looks bad, but it doesn't feel that bad. So, I have read a volume of manga, and I read Cat Massage Therapy Volume 1. I'm sorry if it's echoey or like you're picking up extra background noise because I'm at work, but this is seriously the cutest thing I have ever read, I think. The cutest manga I've ever read. Literally, this little white cat is the manager of a cat massage parlor where she and her kitten trainees give massages to overworked people at this particular office. And they get paid in cat food and cat treats and all these kinds of things. And I just had the best time reading this. A lot of it doesn't make sense yet. It's just a first volume. You're kind of establishing what's going on. And it's not a very long volume either. But it was so fun, so cute. 10 out of 10 would recommend. If you're an animal person at all, you will love this. And the toe beans are actually raised, as I mentioned in an earlier clip. And whoever designed these volumes, like 10 out of 10, I love you. Anyways, I've got some more time before my next client, so I'll probably read at least one more volume, maybe two. All right. On to the next volume that I read for this video, and that is Would You Like to Be a Family? So this is a collection of 3 short BL stories. I can't say which one is my favorite. I thought they were all genuinely sweet. I'm probably going to give this like a 4-star overall. Each story had its own little quirks and nuances and stuff, and each one felt distinctly different. They didn't all feel like the same story, which was really quite nice. Sometimes I feel like in these short story collections you feel like you're reading the same story over and over, and I didn't feel that way with this one. Now, I know not everyone has enjoyed this one quite as much as I have, so I would probably recommend checking it out from a library or just reading it at the bookstore before you purchase it if you're unsure. But I ended up really enjoying this. Then again, I've really liked all of the Tokyo Pop, Love X Love kind of imprint stories. There's not been one that I haven't really enjoyed yet. I would recommend it. Again, I think it's sweet and I think it's cute, and each story felt distinctly different. And yeah, so that's how I'm feeling about this one. I might get 1 or 2 more read while I'm here at work. I'm only about halfway through my workday at this point, but I'm not 100% sure. So we will see what happens. I've got a couple of colors that take some time to process tonight, so I might have time to get some more reading in, but we'll see. Alrighty, so the next one that I was able to get read is The Savior's Book Cafe Story in Another World. Now, I have to tell you and be honest, I am obsessed with this. But I also see that it's based on a series of light novels. So I'm going to look into seeing if the light novels are being published. This is a Seven Seas title, so I have a feeling they might be. Seven Seas tends to, if they're doing a series like this, they'll end up giving us the light novel as well, because I'm really intrigued by this story. I didn't expect the story to grip me as much as like the romance between these two on the cover, which is top notch. Big fan, love it. So essentially it's an isekai style story where this woman who's 33 is coerced into another world, and my battery's gonna die, so I will tell you about it tonight. So it is actually the next day. Clearly, I'm not fully ready for the day yet, but I'm getting close. So last night I was talking to you about the Savior's Book Cafe in Another World. And I was talking about how I was super interested in the storyline in this one. So essentially we have this woman who's 33 who's just kind of living an average life as a bookworm in the regular world. And she's been called upon by God to become a savior for another world. And there's the caveat that you can ask for one wish before you go. And she asks, well, is it really only one wish, or can I have as many wishes as I want? And the god is like, nobody's asked me that. So she asks for all these things so that she's actually powerful and can defend herself and can make the cafe the best that it can be. And once she enters this world, this guy named Eel stumbles across her book cafe, and she's effortlessly doing these really strong spells, and he's compelled by her, and it's amazing. I love it so much. But the story is actually really rich because there have been other saviors sent to this world. One in particular was a young lady who just wanted to be beautiful. That was her wish before she entered the world. So she's not been doing anything to add balance back to this world like she was supposed to. So the godlike character takes a human form and warns our book cafe girl about that. And this young girl has inadvertently been using all of her magic power that she's given when she enters the world as charm magic to keep the prince at her side, but she's just being a spoiled little brat. And so it's really interesting to see the difference between them. And she also asked for her savior mark to be hidden because she didn't necessarily want to get pulled into that. So I'm really interested to see where this one goes. But again, I might check and see if there's a light novel edition for this, because I think that might be more interesting than the actual manga, though the art is fantastic. So I'm not sure where I'm going to be. By the way, this is just the scab. It's just looking super bad this morning. I also did get a chance to read one more volume while I was at work last night, and that is A Tale of the Secret Saint. And this is one that I don't think I'm going to continue. This one came across a little immature to me, but essentially we're following this young woman named Fia. Fia is, she's been raised in a family of knights, so she wants to be a knight. And when she's on her quest to become a knight, she inadvertently befriends a dragon, and things kind of go from there. She ends up with more power than she should have, and it's just okay. I didn't end up enjoying it as much as I hoped to, so I think this is one that I will not be continuing, even though I've only given it one volume so far. This might be one where, like, when the volumes come into work on a break or something, I'll sit and read it and see how I feel, kind of a situation. But as of right now, this is one I'm not going to be buying any more of. I'll probably find a way to read the next 2 volumes and then fully decide from there. But yeah, this was just not what I was hoping it would be. I did read The Country Without Humans. And in this one, we're following this young girl named She, and she wakes up and she has no idea where she is as she's being chased by these triangle head golems. And as she's riding a train trying to hide, this particular golem named Bulb ends up protecting her and taking her back to where he lives. And he had a human master, but the master has died. And so she finds a way to rescue his life and give him a purpose again, rather than him auto-destructing. And so now it's about Bulb protecting She from these triangle heads. And other golems have come into play at this point, and it's been a really good, solid volume. Cannot wait for the next one. This is a very intriguing system. You're definitely just dropped in the story, just like she is. And so you're learning along with her. But it's also really sweet and tender along the way as well. Like, the relationship that she and Bulb have is really sweet and innocent. And I just love it so much. Again, another one that I will definitely be continuing. I just finished the splendid work of A Monster Maid, Volume 1. And this one's really cute. It's about this cat demon named Sumire, or Sumir. I'm not 100% sure how you pronounce it. And her master has died, and she ends up being taken in and trained to become a monster maid. And it's a lot more involved than that, but I don't necessarily want to tell you because I feel like this is one best experienced on your own. And so I don't want to spoil what the plot of this one is. I thought it was cute. I'm not 100% sure this is one I want to add to my collection, though. So I may borrow this or just read it at work, kind of a thing. I'm going to see how Volume 2 goes. If I end up really enjoying it, then I'll pick it up, obviously. But this is one that, though it's cute, I'm not sure I would want to reread it often. We'll have to see how the next volume goes again. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm going to take a quick break. Yes, my treadmill's there. My food just showed up, so I'm going to eat. And then I have 2 volumes left for this vlog. Then we'll go. I might have enough time to get it all filmed before I have to go to work. Hey friends, Shae here. So technically this is editing Shae because I forgot to enter this clip. And I'm entering it here because it feels like it makes more sense. So I'm leaving the last 2 grouped together because they kind of are in a similar vein, so I'm going to leave them together. But this is another one that y'all have been waiting for me to read for a long time, and that is Lovesick Ellie. Lovesick Ellie is about this girl who goes by the nickname of Ellie Online, where she has this stan Twitter account essentially stalking this boy at school. And through a set of circumstances, said boy ends up seeing her phone, seeing her stan account, and recognizing himself in her tweets. And so he basically confronts her about it. And he's one of those heroes where he's cool and charming with most people, but he actually lets his real self out with Ellie, which is kind of grumpy and surly and, you know, not necessarily the nice guy he portrays everybody else to be. So these two form a friendship. It starts to blossom into more by the end of the volume because our hero here has never had a girl he felt this comfortable around where he could actually like be himself. But at the same time, he's like nervous around her, and it's just so sweet, so cute. I love it so very much. The art is actually stunning throughout the course of the volume as well. And so you just end up really loving it. 10 out of 10 would recommend the series. I will be definitely continuing this one. And yes, go get your hands on Lovesick Ellie because it's amazing. All right, so I just finished Seaside Stranger Volume 1. I feel like it was unnecessarily sealed because I've read some BL stories that were unsealed that were more smutty than this particular one. And they were both adults, so I don't understand the reason why it was sealed. But that's a personal thing. It is rated older teen, so maybe that's why. I don't know. It says 17 plus, but... Anyways, we're following these 2 young men. The more blondish one was previously engaged and basically left his bride at the altar because he couldn't make himself marry a woman. And so his family basically disowned him, and he now lives with his auntie on an island in the middle of nowhere. Essentially. And while on the island, he starts to notice a boy sitting on a bench, looking out at the sea until late and then leaving. And he finds out that this boy, his name's Mio, and he lost his family. Both of his parents have died. He's, again, living with relatives, but he's not happy at the house. He's not connecting to anyone, and they form a connection here. just as Mio's getting ready to leave the island to stay basically in like a boarding school kind of situation. 3 years later, he shows back up and is the tenant at the place because the other guy, Shun's gay cousin, his lesbian cousin, moved out with her girlfriend. And so now Mio moved in, and Mio confesses his feelings for Shun right away, and things go from there. I thought it was really sweet and really cute, and I know that the anime of this is very well acclaimed as well, and I think I've seen like snippets of it, and I know that there's going to be more to come in this series, but I really enjoyed the first volume, and I'm looking forward to continuing on with that. Okay, I get it. Y'all told me I Hear The Sunspot is definitely so good, and I'm a little teary myself about it right now because I just got to the end of this volume. It was so good, and I should not have put this off for so long. I'm in the wrong. Pick up I Hear The Sunspot if you haven't. Don't be like me. Don't put it off. Just do it because it's so good. It's so good. So Kohei, this blonde guy, has he got a really bad fever when he was a teenager and lost his hearing because of it. Not all of it, but it's definitely impaired to the point where he would need to wear a hearing aid. But he can read lips pretty well. He comes across this guy at school. His name's Taichi. I love characters named Taichi. Like, why? I don't know. It's a thing. Taichi was hungry, and he just ends up falling through a tree, randomly runs into Kohei, and Kohei decides to give him his lunch and just kind of walks off. So Taichi figures out where he would be, gives him back his lunch, becomes his note taker, and it's about the friendship and a little bit more that they form, and it's so emotional. It's beautiful. The art is stunning. 10 out of 10 recommend. Like, it's so good, guys. Like, I know I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot, and I will definitely be picking up more of this very soon. So, with that said, those are some new series that are out that I think y'all should try, or at least I got to share my thoughts on them with you. Let me know in the comments down below what some of the series in 2022 that you're looking forward to starting, and I will see you guys in the next one. If you're here just because you love me, leave some sort of monster related emoji down below because of the Monster Maid story. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Was it all just a dream, just all in my head?